Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy belated Veterans Day, actually, for this past Monday. But of course, Veterans Day is every day. Thank you so much for your service. But again, thank you so much for being here with us today. I am Coach Sandra, hosting today with Coach Rochelle there to my side. Happy to be hosting live with you today. Before we get started with today's topic, if you'd like to sound off in the chat there in the comments, let us know where you're from, where you're tuning in from, what branch did you serve in. If you do have a current coach with us, shout out. And yeah, we'll just give you some time to start that way, and we'll get started here shortly.
Yeah, thanks, Coach Sandra, for that nice warm welcome. Let's give some of our other veterans a chance to join in. So we'll probably get started about 5 minutes after the hour so we can get others into the live here. But yeah, definitely sound off in the chat. Where are you guys tuning in from? Where are you joining us from? Coach Sandra, where are you at?
I'm tuning in from Florida. Beautiful Florida. Nice day here today. Warm as usual. No complaints. Not much of a winter here, of course. So yeah, tuning in from Florida. Let us know. But a little bit about myself as we wait for others to come in and give us some of their comments. I've been here with VA Claims Insider for 5 years now. I am not a veteran. However, I am a proud Air Force brat. My father was in the Air Force 23 years. I grew up overseas mainly because he was stationed there pretty much throughout my whole life, and then moved obviously here to the U.S. So been, surrounded with military, military life most of my life. Such an honor to continue that life now, right, Rochelle? Being able to be amongst veterans every day and being able to work alongside of them and coaching them through this sometimes frustrating process, but ensuring that, each and every veteran receives what they deserve. So it's an honor to be here today. Looking forward to spending the next hour with you.
Yeah.
How about you,
You're
Rochelle?
absolutely right. Yeah. So thank you, Coach Shannon. You and I actually have a very similar story, right? Both of us definitely not veterans ourselves, but loving, what we do and serving our veterans who've served. Also a Navy brat. My father served 20 years in the Navy, and my husband currently still serving in the Army. So definitely surrounded ourselves with this military lifestyle, which I've absolutely loved. And has been an honor. Being able to serve those that have served is such a great honor, especially coming from our family background and then growing up overseas and carrying that on. So Coach Sandra and I, like she said, are so happy to be able to share some great information with you all today. So thank you all for joining us. I see there are some folks joining in on the chat now. We've got Paula tuning in from Southern Illinois. Welcome.
Yes, Paula and Mark Anderson from Houston, Texas. Nice, yep. Nice. Yes, thank you for joining us.
Jerome Bernard, thanks for joining us from Virginia, as well as Grace. It looks like she's coming in from Virginia as well.
Yes, indeed. Wayne, Tyrone, welcome. John, appreciate you being here with us today.
All right, Mark Anderson, Navy, Houston, Texas. Thank you for joining us.
All right, Robbie, Mobile, Alabama, and Beauty for Ashes. That's a beautiful name. Tuning in from Florida.
Yeah, same as you.
Exactly.
We've got, all right, so Miss Paula served in Desert Storm, 91, Operation Enduring Freedom, 08 to 09. Thank you for your service, Paula.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's see, Mary, Robbie, Navy, 19 years. Thank you all for your service. This is wonderful. I love reading. Yeah, isn't it nice to see everyone who's coming on, and beautiful to see that.
Yeah, we are very, I see a shout out to you. You got yes.
Just saw that. Hey, Brian, thanks for joining us today. Absolutely.
5 minutes after the hour, let's get started real quick here with a quick disclaimer. Okay, so we are not accredited agents, VSOs, attorneys, or any other entity recognized by the Department of Veteran Affairs, and we are not affiliated with the VA in any way. VA Claims Insider is an education-based coaching company for disabled veterans exploring eligibility for increased VA disability benefits and who wish to learn more about that process. VA Claims Insider also connects veterans with vetted independent medical professionals in our preferred provider network for medical examinations and independent medical opinions for a wide range of disability conditions.
All right. Thank you so much. A little bit about our elite program, VA Claims Insider Elite Program. What we do here, strategies, right? We strategize with, if you're not on board yet, but this is what, if you are, you'll know this. Get together with our veterans, produce a strategy, educate you throughout the process, and also educate you on medical evidence, which is crucial to support any of your claims moving forward. One-on-one coaching, so you'll have a coach that you work with throughout the process. We talk again, obviously, about strategies, claim submission. We do not submit claims. However, we can coach you through that process as well. And more importantly, CMP education, compensation, and pension exam. Very important part of the process, most important day of the process, compensation pension exam, both for mental health and medical examinations. Furthermore, we also provide live Zoom classes, similar to what we're doing here, live via Zoom. We do this 3 times a day. Our first one initiates every morning with Coffee with the Coaches, which is a great way to gather all the veterans together and, talk amongst your brothers and sisters about success stories, but anything related to claims. Again, mental health exam education, medical exam education. If you would like a discovery call or learn more about our program, you can just go to vaclaims.help, and you'll see it there on the screen, and you'll be able to speak to someone for further information. If you need any help, reach out to our organization. VAClaimsinsider.com is our website, and we'd love to partner with you. So looking forward to seeing many of you who are on board soon with us.
That's right. Yes. Thank you, Coach Sandra. And yes, get signed up if you aren't already. We look forward to welcoming you home. All right. So as always, thank you guys for joining us today. As each and every Wednesday, we come live to really educate our veteran communities with different topics. And so today's topic is going to be about navigating the VA healthcare system. Navigating the system can be quite challenging, right? Today, we're going to be talking about the VA Community Care Program, formerly known as the Veterans Choice Program, if you're familiar with with that verbiage. So we'll cover how it works, the types of services covered and not covered, why your request might be approved or disapproved, and some key tips and strategies for navigating the system effectively. So listen to see if you're eligible and if this will work for you, okay? So first, let's start with the main question. What is VA Community Care? So VA Community Care is a government program that allows eligible veterans to receive healthcare services from providers outside of the VA system. This can be particularly beneficial for those who live far from a VA facility or need specialized care that is not quite readily available within the VA's network. Okay, so 2 fundamental reasons why you might consider VA Community Care. Now, how does it work, right? For eligibility, veterans must be enrolled in or eligible for VA healthcare and must have approval from their VA healthcare team before using the community care, except for matters like urgent or emergency care, which Coach Sandra will actually touch on later. Also, veterans must meet criteria to qualify, like factors such as distance from a VA facility and the availability of required services within the VA. So to clarify, if you're more than 30 minutes away from the closest VA facility, or if the next availability is more than a 20-day wait for a non-specialty care condition, then you would qualify. Or if you're more than 60 minutes away from the closest VA facility, or if the next availability is more than 28-day wait for specialty care, then you would consider this. So it is good to note, though, that if you previously qualified for community care prior to June 6, 2018, due to more than a 40-mile drive, you're actually grandfathered in for that approval, okay? So that's a good note to take away if you're under those standards. But once eligibility is determined, a VA provider or coordinator will refer the veteran to a community care provider. This step requires authorization from the VA, ensuring that the care is covered. After authorization, the veteran can then schedule appointments with the approved community provider, and the VA will handle the payment directly with the provider, so veterans do not need to worry about the upfront costs.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. And there are some reasons here as well that you may not be approved. You know, if you do have a request in and you may not be approved. Some of those reasons may be eligibility issues. So if you don't have, or if you do not meet the eligibility criteria, your request may be denied. Service availability. If the VA can provide the necessary services within their network, they may deny that request. So if they can't provide it through the VA, then they won't send you through community care. Possibly also incomplete documentation. So missing or incomplete medical records and referral justifications can result in not being approved. Sometimes administrative errors or miscommunication between the VA and the community provider may lead to not being approved. And the community care approval process in general, the process of getting treatment approval through the VA community care can be a little intricate and sometimes a bit time consuming. But here's a couple steps that you can follow to see what you should do. Go ahead, Coach.
Okay. So first, you want to consult with your VA primary care provider, right? Discuss your health condition and treatment options with your healthcare provider. So advocate for yourself first and foremost. Express your interest in receiving treatment outside the VA. You can use the secure messenger to communicate with your VA primary care team about your desire for community care to handle treatments. And then once that is requested, they would request a VA community care referral. So your VA provider will need to submit a referral for community care. Ensure that all necessary medical records and justifications for the referral are included. Otherwise, it won't be approved, okay? And then follow up often. Regularly check the status of your referral. Again, be your biggest advocate. This can be done through the VA's patient portal or by contacting your VA community care coordinator. I recommend calling the VA community care hotline daily to follow up for status, right? You need to take decisive action and follow up often. And then for approval and authorization, once your referral is approved, you will receive authorization for the specific services. Keep a copy of this authorization for your records and note that your approval will include some services, but not all, okay? So you may need separate referrals approved for other specific treatments, if applicable. And then you want to schedule your treatment. Contact the approved community care provider to schedule your appointments. Ensure that they have received the necessary authorization. Otherwise, you kept the copy and you can send it again from the VA. And then this has been critical, all right? The follow-up and ensuring that you have the right documentation is critical in ensuring that you get timely scheduling of appointments. So, Coach Sandra, can you cover the types of services that are covered?
Absolutely, very important. And I think I saw a couple questions already in the chat. But yes, very important to know what obviously services are covered through the community care. And here's a few. So immediate care needs such as urgent care or emergency care. So veterans can receive urgent care services from the in-network community providers for immediate medical needs that are not life-threatening, but require obviously prompt attention. And emergency care is covered as well until the veteran can be safely transferred to a VA facility. So this ensures that the veterans receive critical medical attention in emergency situations. So again, urgent care and emergency care. Routine types of care. So that can include, routine medical care, such as checkups or follow-ups with doctors, surgeries, dialysis, vaccines, rehabilitation, nursing home, assisted living, and home health care. Those are also covered. They also cover services of specialty medical care from in-network community providers when that is approved by your VA healthcare team. This can include cardiology, oncology, endocrinology, neurology, pulmonology, gastroenterology, urology, and orthopedics. Also, other services that are covered, surgical services. So general surgery, cardiothoracic surgery, vascular surgery, neurosurgery, ophthalmology surgery, and ENT, ear, nose, and throat surgeries. Rehabilitation services, again, also covered. This can include such services as physical therapy and occupational therapy, speech therapy as well covered, audiology, so services related to hearing issues, and mental health services, very important, right? Psychiatry, to include medication management as well, psychology for therapy and counseling, substance abuse treatment, and recovery and group therapy for peer support. So that's another great service that is provided. So if any of those resonate with you, know that that is available to you, obviously. Right. Keep that in mind. All right. And here are some services that are not covered. Coach Rochelle's going to go over those for you right now.
Thanks, Coach Sandra. So yeah, the service is not covered by community care. So non-medically necessary services like cosmetic procedures, surgeries, or treatments performed solely for aesthetic purposes are generally not covered. Elective surgeries, so non-essential surgeries that are not medically necessary. Experimental treatments, so experimental or investigational procedures, so treatments that are not widely accepted as standard medical practice or are still under clinical trial. Unapproved medication, drugs that have not been approved by the FDA. Long-term and custodial care. So long-term care is extended care services in facilities such as nursing homes that are not related to rehabilitation or short-term medical treatment. Custodial care would be non-medical care that helps with daily activities, especially when these services are not part of a treatment plan for a medical condition. Then there's alternative and complementary therapy. So unapproved alternative therapies, some complementary and alternative therapies that are not recognized by mainstream medical practice, such as certain herbal and holistic treatments. Non-evidence-based practices, so therapies that lack sufficient scientific evidence to support their effectiveness. Services outside the United States, so international care. Medical services received outside the United States are generally not covered except in certain circumstances related to service-connected disabilities or under specific programs like the FMP program, the Foreign Medical Program. Dental services is a big one everyone asks about. So non-essential dental services. While some dental care is covered for eligible veterans, non-essential or cosmetic dental procedures such as teeth whitening or elective orthodontics are not covered. Personal comfort items, so non-medical personal items such as televisions, radios, beauty, grooming services are provided during hospital stays. You've got the over-the-counter medications and supplies, so non-prescription drugs, over-the-counter medication supplements and supplies unless prescribed by a VA or VA authorized provider as part of a treatment plan. And then certain mental health services like non-evidence-based mental health therapies, some form of therapies that do not have a strong evidence base or are not widely accepted within the mental health community. There's vision and hearing services, so elective vision procedures, surgeries like LASIK are not medically necessary. Non-medical hearing devices, so devices and treatments for hearing improvement that are not medically necessary, such as high-end personal listening devices. So to follow up on all of these, I know that was a lot, and we've got a really great VA Claims Insider blog that was released that actually lists all of these out for your reference for a later date. But some questions that we typically get to follow up on those, some might be asking if the VA community care program will affect their VA healthcare. And no, so participating in the VA community care program does not affect the regular VA healthcare. In addition, you don't have to choose between the two, right? Instead, the program is meant to make your life easier, allowing easier access to medical care that you don't have access to. Okay.
Very true. And another question that you may be asking yourself, but is definitely worth answering is, do I have copays with the VA community care program? Very important, right? So if private insurance requires a copay, the VA doesn't need you to pay if you receive VA-related treatment from a private doctor. However, you will be subject to the same copays with the VA community care program if you currently have copays with your VA healthcare. So it'll mimic the same, and the VA will bill you for the appropriate copays after your appointment. All right. So a couple pros and cons of VA community care. Let's go for the pros, which is the most important, right? Pros: access to specialized care. Community care provides access to specialists and treatments that may not be available within the VA system. Convenience, very convenient, because veterans who are living far from a VA facility can receive now treatment or these services closer to home. So very important that. For that, timeliness as well. In some cases, community care can reduce the wait times for treatments. I hear this, sometimes veterans talking about, the wait time trying to get into the VA healthcare system. So timeliness, definitely something that is pro. Cons: complex approval process. So the approval process of getting approved for this community care can be lengthy and complicated. There's a potential for miscommunication, so coordination between the VA and community care providers can sometimes be problematic. Coverage limitations: not all treatments and services may be covered under the community care, so make sure you're aware of that. And in closing, pros and cons: navigating the VA community care program can be daunting, right? But especially when you're dealing with a serious health condition. However, be persistent, use the right strategies. It is possible to access the care that you need from these civilian providers. So tenacity, stay in that fight, as we always say, right? So if you are indeed considering VA community care, we truly hope that this information provides valuable insights and encourage you to pursue the best possible healthcare options that are available to you. Very important.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway there is that there are options, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people don't know exactly what other options are out there. So being able to educate our veterans on these options is a big key takeaway, right? So key points, just to kind of summarize what information Coach Sandra and I have covered. Eligibility and approval. Veterans must be enrolled in or eligible for VA healthcare and receive approval from their VA healthcare team to use VA community care. Okay, so that's where it starts, which includes factors like the VA provider availability, the distance from the VA facilities, and specific healthcare needs. So if your provider tells you that you can't be seen for 2 months, you don't just sit there and wait if you're suffering, right? So definitely advocate for yourself and see if you're eligible. Okay. Now, covered services. VA community care covers a wide range of services, including urgent and emergency care, routine medical care, surgeries, dialysis, rehabilitation, and complementary health services provided by in-network community providers with prior VA approval.
Correct. And just again, to recap, the navigating this system, right? The effective navigation of VA community care requires proactive engagement. So you being proactively engaged and also following up. Be diligent in your follow-ups, because sometimes, as you're going through the process, someone might not be getting back to you, which is, understandable, especially when everyone is so busy. But, stay diligent, follow up, coordinate between your VA primary care team, the VA's community care office, and civilian care providers to ensure the timely and appropriate care for you. Again, this program offers access to specialized care with reduced wait times, but the approval process can be a little bit complex. And so there may be a potential for miscommunication between the VA and community care. So, be, like I said earlier, be diligent, follow up, make sure that you're asking the right questions. You do know what is covered and what is not covered. So make sure you connect with your VA health team for what your needs are. I hope that helps, a little overview of what the VA community care covers and what the services they provide. And that helped you today with what we went through in our discussion. We do open up usually for question and answers. I do see that there are a couple comments in here that we'll get to.
Yeah, so let's start with Perch. You said, how do you go about getting prescriptions after visiting the urgent care? So how it would work is you can fill your urgent care prescription with the VA prescription, but you must visit an in-network pharmacy in the same state as your urgent care visit, or you can fill your prescription through the VA, right? If your prescription is for routine medicine or more than a 14-day supply, you must fill it through the VA. If you fill a prescription at an out-of-network pharmacy, you may have to pay the full cost, but you can file a claim to request reimbursement for that cost. I hope that answered that question.
Awesome. We have another question here from Antonio Hill. How do I get rated for PTSD due to MST? That's a great question, Antonio. Very personal. I'm not sure if you're already on board with us, VA Claims Insider, but I highly suggest you schedule a discovery call with one of our team members. They'll provide all that information, what we do, and how obviously we can, provide more information to you on how to get that rating that you deserve. So again, vaclaims.help, or you can go to our website, vaclaimsinsider.com, and learn a little bit more about us and see how, but obviously get those, that question answered for you, Antonio, and best wishes to you and in your journey. Appreciate your.
The big thing, Antonio, is that this isn't a one-size-fits-all type of process. So your journey might look a little different than the next veteran's journey. And so when we partner with a veteran through this process, it is a matter of, reviewing your medical evidence to see what exactly is missing, right? If there's certain things that you need to build in order to submit that fully developed claim. So that, and then of course, seeing if that's the best strategy for you, and how you would go about connecting the PTSD by way of MST. But just like Coach Sandra said, good luck to you on that journey. We do hope that you join the VACI community so that, you get the support that you need.
All right. Do you want to do that one, Rochelle? Or
Let's see. What other questions do we have in the chat here?
we've got one from.
I don't see. Do you see one?
I got it. Michael just wrote, I've got a grant for migraines after 2 years. So congratulations to you, Michael. That's awesome news. How long does it take to get a rating after remand? Also, let's see, it just went away. Not sure what happened there, but my
it's flashing on the screen.
On the screen, sorry, it just disappeared as I was reading. Sorry about that, Michael. How long? And then also, can the regional office give me any percentage that they want? Well, that's a good question. So I'm assuming, as far as the remand, if you're intending a deferral on a condition that possibly is, needing a little bit more information, that's when a condition is deferred, meaning you don't have to do anything, but the VA has to do a little bit more research to provide an answer or decision to you, right? Also, if the regional office, can they just give a percentage that they want? No, they don't. The rating criteria is based on the condition that you submitted for. And so depending on the severity of a condition, that is how ultimately that condition will be rated. And each condition varies, right? So mental health has a rating criteria that goes from 0 to 100, let's say, in intervals of 0, 10, 30, 70, 50, 100. Migraines, 0, 10, 30, 50. So depending on the severity of a condition, your symptoms, the frequency, and the frequency and severity of that condition, that is how the VA will ultimately rate for that disability. So they don't just randomly say, hey, I'm going to give you 10% here because, that's what I want to do. But no, they rate accordingly. They always look at medical evidence that is supported for that condition. So any medical evidence that you have that you've provided to them, they review. Obviously, compensation and pension exams speak highly of the outcome of that rating, and also medical records, service treatment records, and a lot goes into that decision.
Good deal.
Yeah.
I see a question from Denise Moore. How do I go about getting the annual clothing allowance? So we don't cover that in today's Facebook Live. However, I do want to point you in the right direction, right? One, you want to make sure that you're actually eligible to get the annual clothing allowance. VA Claims Insider has a really informative blog on our vaclaimsinsider.com/blog page. Just type in clothing allowance. But how you go about it, there is a VA form that needs to be completed once you've determined if you're eligible. It's the VA form 10-8678. So look at that blog, read the criteria, see if you're eligible, and then that would be the form you need to fill out to request the allowance.
Perfect. And then we do have another question here from Perch. Is it normal for a higher level review or a decision review officer to disregard a request to reschedule an interview due to veteran request because of surgery and still being heavily medicated? All right, Perch, that is a good question. So they usually give you a couple options. They'll, alert you prior to that call that if you did schedule an informal conference with the decision review officer, they'll alert you prior usually. And then they'll tell you what time and date that they're going to call. If by chance you miss that call, they usually leave a phone number that you can call back. And if unfortunately there's, a miscommunication and you're not able to speak to them, that decision review officer will go ahead and do their due diligence for that higher level review. So even if you don't speak to them, Perch, you'll definitely, be seen, if you will. They will go through your request, your appeal, and eventually get back to you with a decision.
Perfect. All right, so let's read Mike's Mike Hollingsworth's question here. Is it better to take a claim to a judge if it's denied or add new evidence for a supplemental? Then HLR is still denied and go back and forth with supplemental and HLR. Okay. So again, not a one size fits all process, right? But depending on your claim strategy and the decision letter, a part of this process is sometimes you can submit everything that you need and the VA still get it wrong, right? So having someone on your side, like a coach, to review your decision letter with you and kind of take away the things that, you know, the VA is looking for and the things that the VA has acknowledged will be how you would answer that question, right? Whether you have additional evidence that might be worth submitting, or whether a higher level review should be continued. I know the appeals process to go before a judge is a very long process. So sometimes getting the VA to acknowledge the evidence that is supportive is you staying in the fight, right, of the supplemental and HLR appeal. I know we call them HLR sandwiches for a reason, because sometimes it does take going back to them a couple times. But stick with it, because you shouldn't give up on what you deserve.
Absolutely. Very true. Keep the fight. Let's see here. Any other comments?
Let's see.
And thank you again for your comments. You know, not only is the answer specific to you, but it may help others as well that are joining us today and answering any question that they may have had. So that's, we appreciate it. Yeah, we appreciate
exactly.
it. Mm-hmm.
See, Michael asked the question here, is 100% P&T really permanent? So it is considered permanent in total, but of course, if you were to submit a claim, you've just opened up your disabilities for evaluation, which means that they're going to evaluate your conditions. So although it's permanent in total, there is always a risk for reevaluation for potential reduction should you submit a claim. Do you have anything to add to that, Coach Sandra?
No, I think that was perfect. I just wanted to mention, and I'm not sure if this was put in the chat, but if you do need the phone number to community care, it's 877-881-7618. But yeah, as far as permanent total, I mean, that is the VA deeming a veteran permanently and totally disabled, right? So there is another question or comment. Let's see. Did you just, no, I don't think you read this one. I also just recently found out that a veteran can ask for an informal conference with the reviewer. Is this true? Wherever that went. I keep losing.
Yeah, it went away.
But let's see here.
Yes, so you can request an informal conference call with the reviewer, and that's for the HLR. You want to touch on that, Coach Sandra?
Absolutely. Yeah. You have a couple options, right? I mean, there is an option to request an informal conference. That means that you will talk to a decision review officer. And so obviously a higher level review or an appeal is obviously to disagree with the decision that they made. So you'll receive a phone call from a decision review officer. They'll say, hello, how are you? My name is such and such. Why do you disagree with our decision? And they'll ask you that. So you now have the ability to advocate for yourself, talk to the topics as to why you disagree with the denial. Maybe it was you had a bad CMP exam, or maybe you deserve a higher rating. Whatever that may be, you now have the ability to speak to someone to that disagreement, if you will. It's not said that you have to schedule an informal conference. If you wish, you have that option. If not, like I said earlier, that decision review officer will go through your documentation, and they'll still do their duty to assist you for that specific reason.
Yes, Very well. Jeff has a question here. Got a telemedical evaluation and the C&P examiner denied my mental health, stating that I paid for an evaluation. Any suggestions? This was after an HLR. All right, Jeff, definitely important to upload that decision letter to your insider portal so that your coach can take a look at that. But just kind of, responding to it here real quick without seeing the decision letter or any of your documentation, imagine every mental health treatment that you get is paid for, whether it's insurance or whether it's out of pocket, right? So to be denied a claim because you paid for an evaluation, it doesn't sound right to me. So definitely sounds like an appeal. And it says that this was after an HLR. So there are some other options, which is why getting with your coach is important, because if they're still denying your claim even after you appealed it, then that's when that HLR sandwich might be coming into play, because it's definitely worth fighting for, because that is not a valid reason to deny your claim. So good luck to you on that.
Yeah, and absolutely. And all medical evidence, it should be considered regardless of where it's coming from. By law, they should be reviewing that medical evidence for you and consider it. So yeah, get with your coach if you have a chance as soon as possible on that one. That sounds not nice.
No.
Right?
Not at all.
Buddy has a question. This is a question I hear a lot. So thank you, Buddy, for asking. How long does it take to get results back for a new PACT Act claim, right? That is a good question. Unfortunately, the VA is, extremely backlogged. We talk about this a lot in our conversations between us and with veterans, of course. But right now, 150 days, that's what they are saying as an average for a decision on one of your claims. However, the PACT Act specifically, because of it just being recently added, and many veterans do qualify for these specific claims, there's a huge influx of these claims at the VA. I think the last time I spoke to someone that had spoken to someone at the VA mentioned over 1 million claims that they were processing at that time, right? So it can take some time. I don't have a specific answer, Buddy. My suggestion to you is, and I love that name because I would call you Buddy in a sweet way as well. It's hard to say. My suggestion, honestly, is to keep an eye out on va.gov, see what the status is. If it's becoming something that is extremely lengthy, you can always call the VA. The 800 number is 800-827-1000. They can give you some information on that. Check va.gov and just be patient. Eventually it will, something will come back, promise.
She promised.
Something, regardless, you will get a decision eventually.
Yes. Right. Yeah, if I got $1 for every time someone asked how long.
Exactly. It's
right. Okay, so I do see a question here from Mike Allen. What causes high blood pressure secondary to OSA? Is it the high pressure in the chest? So Mike, let me tell you, we are not medical doctors. We cannot give you any concrete, but with VA Claims Insiders resources, if you check out our blog, there was a really great resource that our marketing team put out where there is the link between sleep apnea and hypertension. They found that hypertension can contribute to sleep apnea by impacting the respiratory and cardiovascular health. So in order to pursue a claim like that, though, you would need an independent medical opinion, a nexus, to support that claim strategy. One, you have to have your diagnosis, you have to have the link. So as long as you're service connected for the primary condition that you're claiming the secondary condition to, and then be able to provide a nexus letter. So if you are a part of the VA Claims Insider program, you have that access to the preferred provider network, Telemedica, who's really good at writing those Nexus letters. So get with your coach if you have one. And if not, sign up today.
Yes, very important. Because we honestly, and I just want to say this, for all those that are not elite members as of yet, coaches like myself and Coach Rochelle, but all of the coaches in the VACI community truly are here for our veterans. We love our veterans, and we're here day in and day out to ensure that you are seen and heard, and more importantly, get what you deserve, right? Rightfully deserve. So sign up if you can. If you're a little, unsure, schedule a discovery call. You'll have someone on the line and they'll explain the whole process to you. They'll answer any questions for you. So it's great information. Let's see. I did see something here from Stephen. Excuse me. If I submit a claim for Social Security disability, is that considered as me filing a claim? And then does it take away from my permanent and total 100% status with the VA up for review? Stephen, congratulations. Well deserved on that 100% P&T status. Thank you for your service. No, those are two separate things. SSDI and VA don't encroach, so it will not affect your permanent status. Unless you have anything else to add, Rochelle.
It does not affect it. Hope that helps.
Good to go there.
I see Coach Cassie in the chat. Thanks for joining us.
Cassie.
Or BCM Cassie, sorry.
Indeed. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, Kazak or Kazak. Thank you for what you all do for us. Thank you so much for that comment. We truly do love what we do. So it's an honor, and thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. We appreciate that.
And it also looks like whenever I reference a VA Claims Insider blog, like the sleep apnea secondary to hypertension question, our lovely team in the background has been putting those blog links in the chat. So easy to get to it. All right. Thanks for that.
Yes. In fact, there's a question here from Miss August. 72, not sure. Hello, my dad was denied for the home health caregiver services, but was referred to put in for aid and attendance. Do you have any insight on the aid and attendance information? Thank you. Unfortunately, not much insight, although I can, someone will probably give or add a link in our chat here for you to review, but mainly that is something that you will discuss directly with the VA. So if you have a VSO that you want to connect with, or go to the VA directly, or go onto their website, you'll find a ton of information related to aid and attendance. I know there's a lot of forms and information that you'll have to fill out. You have to qualify for it. So it is specific to each veteran and if they qualify or not. But once you do have that information, you'll understand where your father, stands in that. And I wish him all the best and thank your father for his service as well. Appreciate him greatly.
All right. Well, it looks like, as always, they put the link in the chat. So definitely take a look at that for the community care question. Okay. I think it's time to close out. It doesn't look like we have too many questions. I think, Coach Sandra, we did an amazing job answering and providing such great information to where we did not have too much questions on community care. So thank you so much for joining Coach Sandra and I today. If there was a question we did not answer due to reference of the sort, definitely take a look at those links that were provided to you to hopefully get you the answers that you need. If there were any other questions we missed for any reason, one of our awesome coaches will come back around and address the questions we missed. Or you can sign up for a discovery call today and talk to one of our ambassadors by going to vaclaims.help. Or if you'd like to sign up, reach out to the organizations at vaclaimsinsider.com. If you'd like to sign up directly with Coach Sandra, she's an amazing coach, or myself, we've got our sign up links directly in the chat as well, so you can get signed up with us directly. We would love to partner with you on your VA claims journey. And make sure you check out Brian's book, You Deserve It. Second edition is now available. Order yours on Amazon today, or you can now also download a free copy of the book by going to youdeserveitfree.com. All right.
Perfect.
So.
Perfect. Thank you again, all of you, for joining us today. It's been an honor, a pleasure to be here. I hope you learned a little bit more about the community care services, what they do offer, what they don't. But definitely reach out to your provider if that is something that, resonates with you, relates to you. Please reach out. Otherwise, be well. Thank you again for your service. We'll see you the next time.
All right. Take good care. Thanks so much, Coach Sandra. It was an amazing show hosting with you.
Same here. Thank you.
Take good care, everyone.